Hey guys, Operator Drewski here, and today we're going to be talking about the future of ArmA 3. Bohemian Interactive just released a roadmap showcasing their 2017 plan of DLCs and expansion packs, and I'm really happy to show you guys that. Before the video starts, I do want to thank you guys for the extreme positive feedback I've had on my Battlefield 1 coverage. I really hope that you guys enjoy the Battlefield 1 coverage, and I'm really happy that a lot of you do. I mean, I've had the biggest liked to dislike ratios for a very long time. I feel like people are refreshed with this stuff. I feel like just Battlefield 1 is definitely a really fun game to cover, but today we're talking about some ArmA 3, so let's get straight to it. So just to refresh your brains on the DLCs that have come out for ArmA 3, we had the Zeus DLC, we had the Carts DLC, we had the Boot Camp update, we had the Helicopters, Marksman, Nexus, Eden, and ArmA 3 Apex. So these were definitely very structural, very helpful DLCs to the final, in-game type of formula that really helped out in overall combat, especially with things like the Marksman and Helicopter DLC, filling in some holes that were empty in the vanilla game. That it's definitely helped out a lot to have these DLCs, and overall they've been mostly liked. So Bohemian Interactive recently showcased their 2017 roadmap, which showcases 5 DLCs and like a little bit of information about each and every one of them. Some of them are a little bit kind of bland and we don't really know what they are yet, but others are highly detailed and we know exactly what they will be. So first off, we have the Jets DLC. On the ArmA 3 website, it says that next year, air superiority jets will fight for control over our simulated skies. More details are forthcoming, but for now, Bohemian Interactive can confirm this package will be supported by a free platform update with radar and sensor improvements as its standout feature. By adding more depth to threat detection and tracking, Bohemian Interactive plans to aims to improve gameplay across the entire sandbox. Now, this is something interesting that I've said before in my comments about DLCs, where there were holes in the vanilla game that were soon filled in by DLC packages. For example, I actually made a video a long time ago, I mean like 2 years ago, that was focusing on how there's not really any good snipers in ArmA 3. There's the lightweight, super lightweight that don't really do much damage snipers like the MK14 like DMR or very light DMR. I don't even know if you call it a DMR. It was more of a just short range 7.62 rifle. There's also the CSAT variant of that gun. It's a 10 round instead of a 20 round mag. I don't even know what it's called. I forgot about it. But there was those, and then there were gigantic 12.7mm bolt action rifles and semi-auto, I guess, for the links. But these rifles were extremely diverse. There was no in the middle just normal sniper rifles. And I felt like kind of an empty hole, and I was like, why wouldn't they have that? But then they showcased that they were bringing in a Marksman DLC that pretty much made what would have been in the vanilla game a DLC, and then they had people buy the DLC and stuff. I do want to mention that when I'm mentioning this Jets DLC here, because let's look at it. ArmA 2 had jets. It had air-to-air jets, and it also had close air support jets. ArmA 3 has had, arguably, only close air support jets. Now, the Neofron and the Buzzard don't exactly look like really close air support jets, but the Buzzard also has an AA variant, which is supposed to be focused on anti-air, but they aren't exactly like, I guess I really can't say that any of those jets are focused on air-to-air combat, and they aren't really focused on just fighting other planes. Now, you can in ArmA 3, but it's very basic. It's not really anything very special or anything. I don't think I've ever had a lot of excitement of air combat other than just doing one-on-one dogfights with people with guns only. But the Jets DLC is going to bring in some air-to-air planes, for example, probably an F-35 variant of jet or something, or some really experienced, like, or really not experienced, some really advanced F-22 type of jets or something. Just jets that will be able to participate in air-to-air combat a little bit more effectively. Now, we do have very interesting mods that do bring in a lot of cool stuff. I will say just right now, check out the USAF mod just for an experience of air-to-air combat in ArmA 3. At its finest. I don't really know exactly how good the Jets DLC will be, but the USAF mod will have to compete with it. I think the USAF mod is doing really great. I seriously love that mod with how many airplanes are in that DLC, but they'll really have to put in a lot of jets for people to really be interested about that DLC, as we already have extremely effective jets like the Wipeout and secondarily the Neofron. Now, the second DLC in the list is the Orange Codenamed Dlc. BI opened a new studio in Amsterdam with the goal of gradually building up a experience, and they've started work on a small project codenamed Orange. With the exact direction of this DLC not really being shown, it says that they're very much interested in exploring and investing, an interesting and unique experience on the battlefield. It's shaping up to be a valuable, innovative addition to the platform. Now that's kind of interesting. We don't really have any speculation about that because it's literally, they're just saying, we're doing something cool, alright, love us. But the third DLC is the Malden Free Dlc. Malden is an old map, I think from Operation Flashpoint. I honestly don't even remember any maps older than like Serrani, and I don't remember them by name because I never really played those games that much. I started playing on ArmA Cold War Assault, but I never played the older Operation Flashpoints and stuff. But the Malden Free Dlc is going to be the 16th anniversary of ArmA 3. That is going to be on June 22nd, 2017. They plan to release a free map for us. They're using the standard already pre-built, structures, vegetation, and stuff from the original ArmA 3 game, but they're recreating a new island and a new map for us, which is definitely going to be pretty refreshing, especially for free. Like a new map for free, a new vanilla map for free is going to be pretty dang nice. Now we also have number 4, the TAC Ops DLC. It says later next year we aim to present players with a package of playable content, tactical operations that focuses upon challenging, replayable, and authentic military gameplay, which makes the best use of BI's sandbox. This development is an opportunity for BI to learn how to continue and support the platform, fund their project, and offer valuable new experiences for their players. Now, I think that's pretty cool as well. Just adding some more infantry-based stuff is definitely a good thing to have. And we also have the new Tanks DLC, which I'm kind of most excited about. BI says that we round off this roadmap with an ambitious goal, overhauling the experience of armored combat in ArmA 3. This package will follow their well-established model, a set of premium assets which brings something new to the sandbox, supported by platform improvements and additions for everyone for free. Bohemian Interactive also encourages their community to share their wishes on the topic on their forums as well. So I saw a pretty interesting Facebook comment on this post that they posted on the BI Facebook page, or the ArmA 3 Facebook page, and it was pretty much stating, what if the majority of players would rather have performance improvements other than these DLC? And I'm going to be kind of giving my same opinion on that, and it's, well, kind of showing why they wouldn't really want to do that at this point in time. Well, ArmA 3 is such a older game now. It's 3 years old already. It's pretty much done. They're not going to be really working on any actual structural things anymore, just because they're not really going to make a lot of money out of it. Every business is trying to make money. Every business is trying to feed their families, and they're not really going to work on something that isn't really exactly going to give them any actual boost in terms of sales. Something like a Jets DLC, something like a Tanks DLC, things that will add new things to the game are easy and quick money, and they don't have to really do a lot. They're pretty much doing the same thing as mod makers, but then they're getting money out of it, and therefore it's pretty simple and easy for them to do. Now, in a perfect world, I additionally would, hell, I would not care about 5 more DLCs. If I could get a 60 FPS DLC, I would pay another $60 for it. But the thing is that the regular person that goes and buys ArmA 3 doesn't really understand yet how just terrible the game runs in a lot of multiplayer matches. Now, there are missions and game modes that don't really run a lot of stuff, but for the standard ArmA 3 game mode, I'm talking about a milsim experience with a medium amount of players, let's say 30 players, where there's AI and stuff that you're fighting in a standard ArmA 3 game mode where ArmA 3 is being played the way it was meant to be played. FPS just absolutely is not good. It is absolutely horrid. Creating in-game assets like tanks and jets are pretty much just similar to what they've already done, and therefore it doesn't really take much development time. And that's what I kind of want to say about these 5 DLCs, is that they aren't really that big. It's not going to be a lot of work for Bohemian Interactive to do, and it leaves the roadmap just quite empty at the very, very end of ArmA 3. It's kind of hard to know what's really going on behind the scenes here, and they're definitely, most definitely in my opinion, working on another project that will hopefully be announced at E3 or PC Gaming Convention in 2017. Because if you look at these, they're pretty much doing the same thing as mod makers do, where they just create assets for the game. They're not doing any big structural things where they have to have a lot of developers working on it at one point in time. There is something going on behind the scenes here where they're preparing for their next big title. They're just pulling what a lot of games do and a lot of games devs do. For example, Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 was a game that was released in like, what, 2014, I think? Maybe late 2013. And then it was like held up by DLCs for almost like 3 more years just because of the fact that it had so many awesome DLCs that came out afterwards. And then, behind the scenes of those DLCs, they were actually creating the next Battlefield 1 game, and that's pretty much what happened with Battlefield. They, I think, at BI right now are working on the, next experience for ArmA. They're working on the next ArmA 4, and I'm really hoping that they really push a new engine. I honestly think if ArmA 4 is running just as poorly as ArmA 3 does in a standard multiplayer mission, I'm not even going to be interested in it, and I think a lot of players are going to be turned off by it. I've seen even comments by people that are experienced, that are really veterans of the series, Dxtory for example. When ArmA 1 or 2 came out, I believe he believed that, okay, this game is going to be awesome because it's not going to have frame rate issues, it's not going to have performance issues like the other games did, but that game didn't really have any improvements, as well as ArmA 3 now didn't really have any improvements. It's still the same engine, it still has the same problems as the other games had, where although, people are going to say in the comment section of this video, the game just runs poorly because you have a bad PC. Well, a lot of people with these i7 6780 whatever crazy quad-core i7s with dual GTX 1080s are running the game, and they're getting poor performance with their i7 being only 30% usage, or their 1080 being only at 20% usage. I've made videos over the performance of ArmA 3 just not being that perfect and being really flawed compared to a lot of other games, and just how a PC that's not even struggling will still run ArmA 3 badly. I've tested over on like 4 PCs now, I believe, and it still has the same results. If you want to see those videos, go check out my channel. But yeah, I'm still really excited for the DLCs, still really excited to see if that keeps ArmA 3 alive for the next year or 2, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video as well. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, hello,
We made it!
No, this can't happen. No! Yeah, get him, buddy! Contact!